Welcome to the Real Horror Stories channel. This channel is based on the real horror incident which is shared by our viewers. First story shared by Isabella from Norway. This is the story of some friends who spent time in farmhouse for fun, but it turned into nightmare. This anecdote is more of a precautionary anecdote as to always check and do your research on new places. No matter how beautiful and grand they are and how excited you are. Some histories are dark and they haunt the place irrespective of the people that come and go. The evil is sometimes just evil and wanting to create the fear and agony that it once felt. If you're a person who's prone and susceptible to the supernatural, this might interest you. I can't seem to take a break from unusual happenings and occurrences around me, and I definitely need to do my homework before my next trip. July 10, 2020. I was out with my friends for a simple getaway from all the studies and work and home chores. We decided to travel to my friend, Ronnie's farmhouse, where we all could spend a good, peaceful and fun night. It was a lot of 7 people including me, and everyone thought that this was a good idea. Once there, we all decided to take some rest and then gathered together in an hour to go out for a walk in the gardens. Some context: Ronnie's farmhouse was in the outskirts of the city, right next to a huge forest area where elephants roamed about, and hence, it was not advisable to roam outside the farmhouse's periphery after dusk. We all were aware of the dangers and decided to abide by the rules, unlike any horror movies you watch. First smart step, check. And because we were in the outskirts of the city and knew that food couldn't get delivered to us at late hours, we carried all the materials we needed to cook a good chicken platter for the 7 of us. Second step, preparation, check. So, as discussed, all of us napped for some time and were ready to go out for a walk in the gardens at around 4 p.m. in the evening. It was still 2 hours to dusk, so we were safe. Once in the garden, we took a lot of pictures and had a lot of fun. We came back inside and some of us were busy freshening up, when one friend of mine named Rini shouted at the top of her lungs, looking at her phone petrified. We ran to her and asked her what was wrong, and she just handed us her phone. We saw a picture of Rini standing in front of a tree and smiling. That's it. We were frustrated that she'd play such a stupid acting prank on us, but she was even more confused to see the picture. She claimed that while she was going through today's pictures in her gallery, she saw a woman hanging from the tree that was behind her in the picture. We saw nothing. We explained it to her that it might have been some picture illusion, and that's nonsense. She was hell-bent that what she saw was true and right. It was no illusion. Ronnie exclaimed that Rini was just tired and that she needed rest. We agreed. Rini went to take a nap, against her will. We all sat downstairs chilling and laughing, unaware of the weirder things that were coming up. During our fun chats and stupid laughter, another friend, Alan, became quiet all of a sudden, claiming that he felt as if someone was holding his hand. He felt a strong cold grasp on his right hand, which was now gone. We again dismissed it as his body's reaction to fatigue, but even he claimed that what he felt was real. He immediately fell sick and nauseated and went to take a nap as well. At this point, Ronnie started to look worried as well as perplexed. He went out to take an urgent call and did not come back into the house for a good 45 minutes. Everything started to look pale and we weren't having fun anymore. Another friend, Manish, started to curse and abuse at us for absolutely no reason, and even threw his phone at us, which luckily did not hit any of us. That's when a friend, Gautam, slapped him hard to get him back to his senses. And of course, he had absolutely no recollection of what he had just said or done. Now all of us were pretty sure that something was wrong with this place. Irrespective of how everyone was behaving or what everyone saw, we all were feeling sick from our gut. We wanted to leave the place ASAP, and we had our cars. Finally, Ronnie shows up, and by this time, we have woken up Rini and Awan as we were all packed to leave the house. Rini kept blabbering that the lady she saw was real and she saw her outside her window pane too. We were sweating and scared like a cat. We did not want any explanation. Just wanted to leave. That's when Ronnie told us something so weird and scary that we legit felt the ground below our feet swoop away. The urgent call he had to take was with his father, and the subject of their discussion was the weird occurrences that kept happening to each one of us. With a very guilty face in mind, he told us that we couldn't leave the house right then as it was too dangerous to drive through the forest so late in the evening, and that his father had mentioned that the house was the safest for us until tomorrow morning. Now that we couldn't leave, Ronnie owed us an explanation as to what was so gravely wrong with the place. That's when he told us that everything that was happening in and about the house was because of their maid. Or to be more precise, dead maid. 2015 Ronnie's father had purchased this farmhouse from another wealthy family who were permanently shifting to another state in India. The ex-owners were a very kind and old couple, and they had another couple from the nearby village working in the farmhouse. The husband, Kareem, worked as the gardener and his wife, Anya, as a maid of the house. Ronnie's father continued their employment at the farmhouse as he needed hands at the house to keep it fine and also set it right in case that their family was entertaining. One such evening, in the month of December of 2015, Ronnie's father had organized a success party of his company for his very close friends and colleagues at his farmhouse, and Anya, along with some of her sisters, were responsible for the dinner. Kareem, on the other hand, served guests and took care of their needs and requests. The party was over at about 10 p.m., and as it was too dangerous to travel back at such an hour, everyone had to stay over at the farmhouse. This was the beginning of the grim part of the story. Some of Ronnie's father's drunk friends molested Anya, finding her alone in the kitchen trying to do the dishes. She was slapped, hit and tortured for not giving in to their demands. On hearing the loud noises from the kitchen, Ronnie's father rushed to check and saved Anya from his friends. Instead of doing what was needed to be done, he tried to buy Anya's silence with money and his child-sponsored education in the city. Anya's husband was present in the scene, and he denied to accept Anya anymore due to what had happened with her. Ronnie's father tried to explain Anya that the molestation was an honest mistake and that money would solve all her problems, even her not being accepted by Kareem. Frustrated and agonized by all this, she hung herself from the tree that was in the picture Rini had shown us. After the suicide, the farmhouse had become inhabitable. Anyone who tried to stay the night at the place would fall sick or would do things out of their control, feel an unwanted presence around oneself, sometimes even hear loud agonized noises and screams in the house. Ronnie's father had also tried to sell it, but to no avail. He had finally called on a tantric, occultist, to help with sealing the negative energy off the place, but he could seal it off only until outside the perimeter of the farmhouse. And hence, we all were the safest in the house. We were afraid of everything that was just told to us, and we had no other option but to spend the night in the house. Our friend Manish kept abusing at us at intervals, and Rini claimed that she could see the maid outside the windows at times, and the way she described her shocked Ronnie as she was being pitch perfect correct. Awen could feel the cold atmosphere around him, and he was sick for the next few days as well, and all we others experienced was the sheer fear in the air and occasional loud bangs and noises from right outside the door, where the tree was from which the maid hung herself. Second story shared by Maria from USA. Even before I tell you this, I still got goosebumps and my head feels like it's getting numb or something. But I want to share you guys this scary story. This is my first time to tell a story online, but I promise you guys all the paranormal things I have experienced are real, and this is just the beginning. Here it goes. I can't remember when it happened, but I was still in college that time. I used to stay up at night watching TV, even on weekdays, so yeah, I was watching TV. Then I feel a little sleepy, so I wash dishes and then head to bed. I was cleaning my bed and combing my hair. Honestly, my heart hurts right now. I can feel there is something wrong every time I tell this story. Continue. So yeah, everyone is already asleep that time. I sat on the edge of my bed, and for no reason, I look at my window and I saw something that scared the whole shit out of me, even until now. I saw a dark shadow forming a lady with a messy hair. She was like staring, then slowly going down like she was about to go or what. The scariest part was I was still staring at it, so shocked I can't even move. She was still slowly going, imagine someone on an escalator. Then I have the courage to turn the lights off. Then I look at the window again and she was gone. After that I close my eyes, but the image of the lady I saw was stuck on my mind, and until now it still give fast heartbeat and I'm having hard time to breath. At first I thought it was our neighbor. Or a human. But no human can stand so near at the window and look like a dark shadow.